In this video, we will explore the developmental domains which are crucial for understanding human growth and development. And we're going to dive into key areas like the physical, cognitive, emotional, and social development. So let's explore this journey of physical development and growth in young children. It's important to remember that we should support, but not pressure, a child's natural growth. Each child is going to develop at their own rate, and trying to rush this process can be very counterproductive. For example, toilet training is a big one we often hear about. It's a milestone that requires a lot of abilities from the child. They have to be able to control their sphincter. They have to have communication skills to tell people when they have to use the restroom. And they also have to have the fine motor ability to manage all the clothing. And all of these skills develop over time. So it's crucial that we wait for the right moment when the child is ready to start potty training and not try to force this, because it can just cause frustration from both the child and the adult. So when we think about this, three key factors will influence a child's physical development: heredity, nutrition, and health. So heredity is the genetic blueprint, nutrition is going to fuel the growth, and good health ensures that the body is going to develop the best that it can. Additionally, things like ethnicity can play a role in growth patterns, which emphasizes the diversity that happens in development. So, by understanding these elements, we can better support each child's unique developmental journey. Remember, our goal is to nurture and encourage children, allowing them to thrive at their own natural pace. Motor development is essential to child's overall growth. It enables them to move and control their body parts effectively. So let's focus on three key points here. First, motor development starts as a reflexive process in infants, and that means initially their movements are automatic responses. But as they mature, these reflexes will evolve and soon turn into voluntary motor skills. And this allows for more deliberate movements over time. Second, the development of these skills relies on several factors. So things like maturation is crucial because it's going to naturally unfold over time. Input from our sensory system plays a significant role. And children need to experience the world through their senses to refine their movements. And then finally, having a healthy nervous system and the sufficient number of muscle fibers is necessary for effective motor development. Finally, the opportunity to practice our motor skills is vital. Engaging in activities that encourage movement helps children build and refine their abilities. Encouraging practice in a supportive environment fosters growth and confidence in their motor skills. Let's explore how our bodies develop in fascinating patterns. One key pattern is called cephalocaudal, which means the growth starts from the head and moves downward towards the feet. Think about it. A baby learns to hold their head up before they learn to crawl. This progression highlights an essential aspect of our physical growth. Starting with the head, moving down to the toe, babies are mastering control in a top to bottom sequence. This development forms the foundation for more complex movement skills. Reflect on how this growth pattern might relate to your own experiences or observations with children. Now let's explore the concept of proximodistal development. This is where development occurs from the inward part of the body and moves to the outward part of the body. So this means that an infant gains control over their core muscles before they acquire the ability to control their limbs or their fingers. For instance, a baby can roll over using their core strength before they have the capability to sit up unassisted. This highlights the central development of the muscles before the peripheral muscles. Understanding these growth patterns helps us appreciate the natural progression of skills in children. It's a reminder of the remarkable journey from simple to complex. Now, let's think about gross to fine motor development as far as a human growth pattern. This describes how muscles develop from using large muscles to the fine tuning of the small muscles. For example, a baby will first learn to hold a ball. So these are those large muscles, right? Just using the arms or maybe the hands to hold the ball. And then later, they will refine those skills to purposefully learn how to manipulate their hands so that they can throw the ball or even catch the ball. So those take more purposeful skills. This is a clear illustration of how our bodies become more adept and capable over time. Remember, this is just one aspect of our developmental journey. Next, we're going to explore how our bodies interpret sensory information in the realm of perceptual development. So, when we speak about perceptual development, we're talking about the multisensory information that's received by our body, right? This is things that we're kind of unaware of. They're happening underneath. We don't even know that our body is taking this information and kind of interpreting it on its own. So let's take a closer look at this perceptual development. There are 7 key sensory systems here, and they contribute to this process. So let's talk about those 7 sensory systems. The first is tactile. So that's all about touch. And it's amazing to think that our skin is the largest sensory organ in our body, right? So that's the tactile, the touch system, right? The next one is our visual, and this is our sense of sight. It's crucial for interacting with the world around us. The next would be auditory, because hearing plays a significant role in communication and awareness. The other 4 systems are things like gustatory, which has to do with tasting, olfactory, which has to do with smelling, vestibular, which is our movement and balance, happens in our inner ear, and proprioceptive, which is our muscles, joints, our body position, and our force of movement. All of these systems are constantly at work and working together to create our own unique perceptions of the world around us. In the next slide, we're going to see how these sensory systems can influence our behavior and how we interact with others. So we kind of talked about those 7 sensory systems on the previous slide. Now we're going to dive into kind of what the functions are for each one of these systems. When we talk about the tactile system, this system helps us understand how our environment is, what it's all about through touch, right? We can feel textures, temperatures. This is a sensory system that's essential for learning and safety. Our visual system, it enables us to interpret light and color, helps us navigate our surroundings, helps us to recognize shapes and faces, and it's fundamental in reading and spatial awareness. Auditory, or our hearing, lets us communicate and understand spoken language. It also helps us detect sounds, which is vital for alertness and interaction. Gustatory, or gustatory, this system involves our sense of taste, allowing us to enjoy and distinguish between different flavors, and it plays a big role in our dietary preferences and nutrition. Olfactory, which is our sense of smell, helps us detect odors, which can trigger memories and emotions. It's crucial for taste and environmental awareness. Vestibular, this system manages balance and spatial orientation. It helps us maintain posture and coordinate movements, and it's crucial for things like walking and dancing and coordination. Proprioceptive, this one provides a sense of our body position and movement. It aids in coordination and motor control and helps us gauge force and effort when we're engaging with the world. Understanding these functions can help us appreciate how our bodies process the world around us. How might these systems interact in daily life? Well, we're going to explore that next. Now let's dive into the sensory processing patterns, right? These play a crucial role in how we're going to interact with the world. First, there's sensory seeking. So these would be individuals that are actively looking for a sensory experience. They might be the people who love bright lights or love loud music. Next, we have sensory avoidant. So this group would shy away from intense sensory input. There, I got it right. Preferring quieter or less stimulating environments. Sensory sensitivity describes those who notice sensory input more than others, but don't necessarily seek or avoid it. They might feel overwhelmed by texture or noises. Finally, there's low registration individuals, and they might miss sensory cues altogether, and they might need more intense input to even have a reaction. Understanding these patterns can help us better support individuals and their unique sensory needs. Let's take a moment to consider how these patterns might show up in our daily interactions. Cognitive development is a fascinating journey in a child's life. It refers to the growth in their intellectual or their mental capabilities. Now, what does this process involve? It encompasses recognizing, processing information, organizing information, and planning. Each of these activities plays a critical role in how children learn and make sense of the world. As children develop cognitively, they begin discovering, interpreting, and classifying information. They also become skilled at sorting and problem solving, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. This development is crucial as it lays the foundation for more complex cognitive tasks. Let's dive a little bit deeper into cognitive development. It's essential to remember that this is not an isolated process. It's heavily influenced by the child's interactions with their surroundings and the people in their life. Key point number one, cognitive development is continuous and doesn't stop after childhood. It evolves throughout our lives. We will continue to develop our cognitive skills all the way to death. Secondly, cognitive development doesn't happen in a vacuum. It overlaps with other learning domains like language and social skills. This interconnectedness is crucial for holistic understanding. Lastly, let's consider how it all starts with the infant's reflexive behaviors. These basic survival instincts are then enriched as children are exposed to new stimuli and experiences. As we move forward, we'll explore how language development ties into this process. Language is much more than just words. It's a complex system of symbols that can be spoken, written, or even gestured. This system is what enables us to communicate and socialize effectively. Language is critical because it gives meaning to words, supporting many cognitive processes. As we grow, language development occurs in a sequence. This progression is not just about age, but it also depends on both maturation and the learning opportunities we encounter every day. These opportunities might come from interactions with others or through exposure to diverse experiences. So, in essence, language development is a journey that evolves over time and is shaped by both internal and external factors. Let's explore the two categories of language development. We call these expressive and receptive. So, expressive language is all about the words we use to convey our thoughts and ideas. Think of it as the bridge that allows us to share our inner world with those around us, the things we are saying, the words we are speaking. On the other hand, receptive language involves understanding the words that others communicate to us. It's about processing and making sense of the information we receive. So it's the things we hear, the things that come into us through the hearing process. Both expressive and receptive language skills are crucial for effective communication and interaction. Without one, the other wouldn't be as effective. It's a dynamic interplay that facilitates understanding and connection. Now, let's explore our final slide, which is social and emotional development, which is a vital aspect of our growth. Social development is all about how we interact and form relationships with others. On the other hand, emotional development focuses on our ability to understand and regulate our own emotions. These two are deeply interconnected with several other factors, things like gender roles, temperament and morality, as well as attachment and empathy. They all have an impact on our social and emotional development. Additionally, consider things like risk and resilience, which highlight how we face challenges and bounce back from adversity. Social and cultural norms are also going to play a role, influencing our self awareness and our self regulation. Understanding these elements can lead to a more well rounded view of a human development. Thank you, and I hope you got a lot from this video.